And Jesus came and spoke to them, saying, All authority has been given to me in heaven and on earth. Go therefore and make disciples of all the nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you. And lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Amen. I guess we'll start with opening prayer. You want to have that?
Our Father in heaven, thank you for the many blessings you give us. Thank you for this opportunity we had to go on this trip. And please be with us through this evening. Help us to do everything for your honor and glory. And help us to be ready for when you come again. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Again, we want to thank you for coming. It's a small group. We have another group that's actually in Chicago for the Youth Congress. But we're so glad that you took the time to come and help enjoy this trip. And we want to thank you also for many of you who donated and gave money as a wedding gift to help so that we could go on this trip. Neither one of us have been to Africa before, and so it was quite an experience.
We okay? Okay. We took a trip over to Tanzania. It's called Falco's Children's Village in Tanzania. It shows a map of where it is. If you can see this little part right here, that's Tanzania. It's on the east side of Africa. It's the largest country in East Africa, actually. And they call it lower middle class is the economy. It's called the United Republic of Tanzania is the official name. They used to be Tanganyika and Zanzibar. And in 1964, they became one country and called Tanzania. They have a capital on the coast. It used to be the capital, Dar es Salaam, and now they're moving it to Dodoma. I don't know how to pronounce that exactly, but anyway, well, Sam is telling me I'm doing close enough. So the official languages are Kiswahili, Swahili, and English. And the money is a shilling, and we had some fun times with that over there. The official exchange rate's $2,500 to $1, 2,500 shillings to $1. But most of the merchants will only give you 2,000 if you try to use your money. So, this is the top part of Tanzania, which is where we were. We were in the northern part. We flew into Kilimanjaro. We didn't actually get to ever see the mountain because it was dark or near dark when we got there, and it was cloudy when we left. So, but the top part up here, I don't know if you can see the little red airplane up there. That's where we came in. We drove over to Arusha, and then about another 3.5 hours towards Ngorongoro Conservation Area to a place called what was the name of that place? Karatu. There we go. Okay. But it took us about 17 hours on a plane, and that was one of the biggest things for us that I hadn't expected was how long the flight is and how much time you spend on the airplane.
Well, that was the main flight, but then to Kilimanjaro, it's another 4 hours.
2.5.
Well, it seemed like 4 hours.
Here. This is the Tanzanian flag, and they have a woman president. So, hey, there you go. Okay. She's been president since 2021. This is some of the flight. They actually had pretty good food. They had vegetarian for us, and they had different Asian things that you could have. Those are the ones I chose anyway before we went. I haven't been on a flight for a long time, so I was surprised to see in front of every seat there's this little thing. It looked like a iPad that you can, watch whatever you want on and do whatever you want on. We went with Ethiopian Airlines, and so we stopped in Addis Ababa, both there on the way there and on the way back in Ethiopia. After we got to where we were going on by flight, we went by land cruiser, and you can see some of the traffic and some of the things you see as you're traveling. They've got cows in the middle of the road, and then when you're in the town, we went through Arusha, and there's this, just people just going everywhere. I would not want to drive there. I'm glad we had a driver doing it for us. This is, after we got to Karatu, this was the road that we go out to the orphanage. It's about 5 or 6 miles, and it takes like half an hour to get there because the roads are so rough. This was amazing. They use motorcycles to get around, a lot of motorcycles there, and it's like, how much can you fit on a motorcycle? I don't know if you can see these pictures. They're maybe a little small, but there's one of those motorcycles that got 4 people on it. The other one, there's a lady who's sitting sideways on the motorcycle with a big box because the box is too big to fit between her and the guy that's driving it. So this is interesting. The road signs are, when you come into town, it says 50 kilometers an hour, and when you leave, they give you a sign with slashes through it to tell you that that's ended. So that 50 kilometers an hour is about 30 miles an hour, and normally the speed limit is 80 kilometers an hour, which is about 50, a little over 50 miles an hour. And they do the same things with the town names. They tell you when you're coming into the town, they have Karatu, and then when you're leaving, they have Karatu with a slash through it. And you can see some of the types of vehicles they have. They have a lot of those types of vehicles. And I was watching the 3-wheel vehicles, and when we saw them working on them, they just tip them up and start working on them. Not like you can do that with your car, but with these vehicles, they do. Some of the road signs we saw address site there in Arusha. That's that first one there. That's their compound that's there. And then I never figured out what this road sign meant. There were bumps in the road, but it's like, why would you be riding a wheelchair across bumps? I couldn't quite figure that one out. And then all over the place they have signs over the road with the president's picture on it. And this was on the road from the airport or to the airport, I don't remember which. This is some of the types of housing that you see over there, and the shops and stuff. It's fairly poor. A lot of tin roof type houses and stuff. There's some thatched roof houses too that we saw. Okay, this is us arriving at Falco's Children's Village, and that is what it is. It's not Falco's Children's Village, it's Falco's Children. And we'll show you that in a second, why. The director's wife's name was Tammy Falco Backus, and so it's named after her. So it's her children, basically, is what it's for. But everything is gated over there, and the whole place was fenced in like this, and they have 24-hour guard at the place, at the orphanage. This is some of the buildings that are there. They have a circular layout of about 8 buildings. They have 92 orphans that are staying there. That thing that's on that roof there, that's a water heater that heats the water up. That's how they get their hot water. They have them on all the buildings, all 8 of the buildings, but all of them are broken except the one that's on the main director's place right now. He says that's a project he would like to get some money for someday again, to get we're all in working condition again. This is some of the layout of the rooms inside. They have multiple rooms in each one of those buildings. And they break the orphans up between the girls and the boys, and they break them up by age as well. And then each one of them has a mama, they call it. But the mamas are like teenage or young women that they hire to do.
Well, some are older,
Some
too.
there were some older ones
Yeah.
there, yeah. And this is how they store their clothes for each one of the kids.
So each stack belongs to one child.
You need to hold the mic up, I think.
Each stack belongs to each child?
To one child, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. They helped build a school as well as this orphanage. And that's on the sides there, though, that's the school, but it's about a 1.5 mile walk. And these, young kids, they all walk to school in the morning. They have to get up at like 5:30 in the morning, they eat.
They leave at 6:30 to go to school every morning.
So, yeah. And this is them getting ready to leave. And the guy standing there is Jerry, he's the director. It's an interesting story he has. He used to be a Radio Shack salesman, and he didn't start out to be a Seventh-day Adventist. He became a Christian. I think it was Presbyterian or Lutheran, I can't remember which. And he went over there to preach, and he saw the children in the streets, and he said God told him that take care of the children, don't worry about preaching. So this is us with the kids. They take in the morning, they take a walk, usually with the kids, and just let them play. This is their playtime, the younger ones who don't walk to school. This is Kathy, who went with us. She's a member here at this church. Her son is the one that is CEO of Child Impact, was who we went with. Tom Evans. And this is one of the children that she is sponsoring. She got to meet her while we were over there. So,
Someone asked how come they have such short hair, and that's to help with lice control. And when Tom Evans came one time to our church, we both decided we wanted to sponsor 2 children. So I said, well, let's get a boy and a girl, And so I picked one that I thought would be fun to sponsor. I said, yeah, let's pick this little girl. And Tom said, no, I said, let's pick this one. And he said, no, that's a boy. So it's sometimes hard if you don't see what they're wearing, if it's a boy or a girl, until you know them.
yeah. And the one that we picked to sponsor, they're also in Tanzania, but they weren't at this particular place. They're at a different Twing orphanage in a different place in Tanzania. These are just some pictures of some of the children. Who was this here?
The lady down below with the baby, she's one of the cooks, and that was on Friday, and she was getting ready to go home that day, so she has her own child there. And then if I was not my age, if I was younger, I would have liked to adopt this little boy with the Badgers shirt, because I just think he's so cute. But they have an age limit.
You have to be under
younger.
55, and you have to be
Under
married
50, yeah.
to adopt a Tanzanian,
Yeah.
one of these people, one of the kids from the orphanage. That's the government's rules, not the orphanage's rules.
But no age limit on sponsoring.
This is some of where they eat, how they eat. That's Tom Evans there, that's standing there. This is the entire group that went with us. Well, it had to be in 2 pictures because they weren't all in the same picture. So, but there was 15 of us that went. This is the director and some of the staff. The first picture with the guy with the orange shirt. He's the director, and that's his wife, his second wife. One of his daughters told him that, hey, it's time to get married, Dad. Why don't you go online? So that's what he did. He went online and found this woman here she's a nurse practitioner. She lived in New York. She had her own practice, and she was willing to come over there and marry him and help run the place. So, and she says she actually feels safer there than she did in New York. So this lady here that's in the middle, she's one of the social worker. I thought she was one of the administrative
Yeah,
people.
but she's a social worker.
Okay, so she's a social worker. And then the guy in the middle here, he was our cook. Senyeli. We had our own cook well, when we went, we had 15 of us, but after the first week, all but us three from this church went back home. And so he was our own personal cook for the last week while we were there. So, and what they do is they have people come in and work for 2 weeks at a time. A number of their workers live in Arusha, the big town that was about 3 hours away. And so he stayed for us for the 2 weeks that we were there. This is just some more of the people who were there, some more pictures of.
Now, the lady next to Kathy, that's her daughter-in-law, and so that's Tom Evans' wife, Mara.
In the middle, the
Yeah,
picture in the middle.
She's from Brazil. The one with the bags, we found out we could take each 50 pounds, was it?
Well, we thought we had 2 suitcases between the two of us. Well, we found out like a day or two before we left that it was for each of us. We could each have 2 50-pound suitcases. So we took an extra one and we put a bunch of stuff in. If we would have known a little sooner, we would have bought some more stuff to take over to them, because when you get over there, you find out how much they need. It's like, so if we ever go again, we would each take 2 suitcases and fill 2 of them up with stuff for giving to the kids and helping them out.
And one of our church members, Marilyn, gave a bag of little stuffed animals. So we gave that to the younger children, and then I brought some clothes and stuffed animals, candy left over from our wedding reception and other things. And they don't get candy. Their dessert would be a quarter of an orange or a quarter of an apple, and that would be considered their dessert. So it was really special to see them enjoy the chocolate from here.
Yeah. They have 92 kids currently. Not all of them were there at the time because the older ones go away to school. They board. But there were probably at least 70-something there while we were there.
The babies stay with the director and his wife.
We'll show you some pictures of that a little later on. They have like about 10 that just live in the house with them in that big house we showed you at the beginning. Here's us eating. We had our own private dining room separate from and we had, like I said, our own private cook that took care of us. These are the daughter of the dentist that went with us and her friend that came on. They had gone another time too. This is their second trip there. This is the director with one of the daughters, and I think they bend the rules a little for these people because the government knows Jerry and Valerie, and so they are letting them, even though they're over the age limit, they let them adopt some of these children. So, and then the second picture over here with the lady sitting down with Valerie it's her mother. She was visiting while we were there from Florida. And it turned out that Valerie went to Pioneer Valley Academy, where I went to academy in Massachusetts. She was there, I think she graduated a year before I got there.
And my
So-
brother went there too, and it's closed now. It's no longer a boarding school.
So that was interesting. It's a small world, you know. It's like you just you find out connections like that. This here is baby Tommy. He is blind. They have come over here and they stayed with us for a little while they had surgery for him in Detroit. But it's going to have to be a series of 4 or 5 surgeries that he's coming through. So they're coming back in March to have 2 more done. And this is the father. He does not, he's holding him. He doesn't have the wherewithal to take care of him, so he's given him to the orphanage.
Baby Tommy was born 3 months premature, and so they're not even sure if he will get his eyesight back.
Yeah, they're spending thousands of dollars to have all
yeah.
these surgeries and flights and stuff back and forth, and then they don't know for a guarantee that it will work. But what happened was they were supposed to go to a different doctor in Chicago, and he got sick the first time they came at the end of last year. And so because he got sick, they found out at the place they took him to that the best doctor for doing this type of eye surgery is in Detroit, and he took them on. So it was kind of like a miraculous little thing that happened for them, that he got sick, so that they found out about this other doctor, because he's the one that teaches the other doctors how to do that surgery. Then she wanted this picture in here because it shows she wants a shirt like that because it shows.
Couldn't find it.
It shows all the Swahili words. Well, she found some, but they were either too small or way too big. So, but it shows you the different words for different things in Swahili. This is some of the mamas that are taking care of the babies at the big house where the director lives, and this is them holding some of those babies.
So this is the day before the main group left. They came for about 1 week, and then we stayed for 2 weeks. And so they're getting to see the babies before they leave. And the dentist, the guy with the hat on, they have 2 boys that they're in the process paperwork to adopt as well.
From this
the
orphanage here.
Yeah,
So
they're in Georgia. He saw all of the staff and the.
well, we're going to show a picture of that in a little bit here. So yeah, so this is that church with some of the kids that they're their children or that live with them in the director's home, and then just us visiting with them before we left. This is us helping out with the different church services and stuff that we had. I got to tell my story that I've told probably every church I've gone to for children's story. Eric B. Hare's story about the impossible fish story. He had 4 wives. That's what the 4 is for. Then this is Kathy and Jill doing special music for the church service. Again, singing, just pictures of the church service. He doesn't speak Swahili. His daughter does, so his daughter's doing the interpreting there in the middle. They, by group, each building at church service, have to get up and say a memory verse. That's what that line is. And if you mess up, you have to go to the back of the line, and you keep going through till you get it right. So.
How many kids get adopted from there?
I really don't know that a lot do. And the orphanage has not been around that long, and so they're trying to figure out what they do when the kids get older. And part of we're going to show you a building that they had a donor donated money for, and they're going to be trying to use it to do vocational training as well. So, what's this? Yeah, this is we went there. We thought we were going to help build the buildings, but the buildings were almost all built when we got there, and we'll show you some pictures of it. And they said they can hire somebody for a couple dollars a day to work And they don't need us to be doing that. They wanted us to play with the kids and work with the kids and have worship and stuff like that with them. So this is pictures of us having evening worship with the children. And they had these big storybook picture books that I've never seen before. They were really nice, that you could show pictures to the kids and stuff. So this is Kathy doing it one night, and I'm doing it there. And then the bottom one where it's really dark, that's Jill doing the worship. We went around to the different buildings, one each night. Did worship with the kids. Okay, so I kind of broke this down into sections. And so this section's on work. This is the dentist and his wife. They saw every one of the kids and most of the staff. They didn't see all the staff because some of the staff were too chicken to be seen. Literally, that's what they told us. So anyway, but they give the kids stickers. You'll see some of that in a little bit here. We got some pictures. I think they were sticking the stickers all over their faces and all over everywhere. They bought new soccer balls, new footballs, new volleyballs, and we had to blow them all up for the kids to use them. And then this is, I only did this 2 days there, and it was only for a few hours each. I got to help paint. And everything is metal. They have metal bars on the windows and metal, and it's that red, they primed it, but I'm painting it with this black, sticky, very thick stuff. I asked the director, I thought it was like, he said it's regular paint. I don't think it was. It was some kind of a tar, it was really thick paint. But anyway, but it's just to keep I'm sure it's to keep the metal from rusting. But okay, now this is Jasper. Jasper came with us. He is a photographer, and I said work or play. He's got can you see what he's got there?
Drone.
A drone, okay. So and we will show a video at the end of this where you'll see some of the footage from the drone that he took while we were there. The video we'll show you at the end is they did it for 3ABN, and Kathy made it in it. I didn't make the cut. There's another video that they took that Jill was in, but I didn't get to make the cut in any of the videos that they actually put out to either their donors or to the put on 3ABN. But his story is interesting. I mean, he was a pastor. He was in Malaysia with Amazing Facts. He decided he didn't like the politics and all that stuff, so he went out.
And board meetings.
In board meetings, he said he couldn't stand board meetings. I think Dave will commiserate with him on that one. So he just quit and went freelancing, and he just go around and offer to help people with their, promote their different things that they're doing, their different enterprises or whatever, or what do you call it? Anyway, self-supporting type work things that they do. And I mean, he went into North Korea. I mean, he's doing all kinds of wild stuff. But Tom Evans of Child Impact says, I'm going to give you an offer that you can't refuse. And he said, you work for me and take, do publicity stuff for me, and then you can go do what you want to do the rest of the time, and I'll pay you a certain amount a year or whatever. So.
And he doesn't have to go any board meetings.
So, anyway, so somebody donated felts. Oh, you can see some of the stickers on this guy's face here from going to the dentist. But so that was part of our job, was to help the kids cut out the felts, and then we only let them cut out the big ones. Then we spent the rest of our time in the mornings cutting out all the little figures. They didn't have the box that goes with it, though, so that's something we want to try and get for them. Where you have the box where you can put all the little felts on the number things so you can find them.
Tom's instructions was let them cut out the felts, and he said, so we kind of hovered over them. Some of the tree trunks got cut off, but anyway, they did the best they could, because some of them were really too small to do it, but they had fun doing that job.
Okay, everybody works. They're cleaning and polishing their shoes. They do the laundry. This is where they do the laundry at. You know, they don't have I think there was a washing machine dryer in the big house, but
There is.
there wasn't for the kids' clothes. They have to be washed by hand. They have to sort the food. It's time consuming, sorting all, make sure there's no rocks and get it sorted out. And these are called pigeon peas, and then some rice. Pigeon peas are grown there in Tanzania. I don't know what to
Chickpeas.
Kind of like chickpeas, I guess. Then even the kids, they're taking the chaff off and stuff. And then look at what he's sweeping
From the rice and beans.
with. I mean, that's what they sweep with, those little things like that. Here's food.
Doesn't that look yummy?
That food is, especially the one in the middle there, they've mixed about 7 or 8 different things together. It even has some little fish in it that they can mix in. And it's supposed to be very nutritious. It doesn't look that way to me, but the kids love it, and they come back for seconds and eat plenty.
And that's their dessert, the orange peel, a quarter of an orange.
And then that's some bags of the rice. They come in 100-kilogram bags, and they ride their motorcycles driving down the road with those bags on it. This is our food that they gave us, more Americanized type of food. But this is the one on the side there. That was their pizza that they made for us one night. And then the other side is what we got for breakfast usually. Potatoes, eggs, and toast, and these tomatoes that they kind of fry. I don't know how you want to say. They just singe them in the...
I missed out on it because I didn't think I would like those tomatoes because I like them fresh. But then I thought, you know what, I'm going to try it. And then I wished I hadn't started eating them earlier because they're actually very good.
Okay, so this is, it's kind of hard to tell from this picture. The one, I don't know how I can do it here. This is the old dining room, and it only goes over to where that thing sticks out there. The new one that they just built goes all the way back in under there where that door is. So it's actually about twice as big as what they had before. The government told them that their dining area was too small and they had to build a new one. So a donor came and donated several $100,000, and they built this building, and it was done when we got there. That was what they told us originally that we were going to go help do, was build that. But they use it for church and as a dining hall. And while we were there, it hadn't been that long since it was there. They were still using the old one, and the director was telling, you guys got to use the new one. That's what we built it for. So this is the other building that they're building that I helped do some painting on. And it's going to be a gym and a multi-purpose building, and also they're going to try to do vocational training in there for the older students. They're older orphans. This is them passing out. Remember that she's talked about that bag before. You can tell a little about this thing.
Yeah, so I went through and found some clothes to give away and stuffed animals, candy. And so Grace, the social worker, took them, divided it by the age of the stuff that we gave them, and then you can see the children playing with the toys on the floor.
And then they also brought, Tom and some other of the people Mara bought some wooden toys for them to play with. And then some candy, some of these, those Welch's thing that they were giving out at dinner, snacks. Now I'm switching to the play section. This is where they play volleyball. They play it over their swing set. They do have a net out in the field that they go in the evening and play, and that was what they wanted us to do, was play with them. So we went out there and played with them pretty much every night.
And they came back from school.
After they got back from school, they go out there and play till it's supper time. And but it's a dirt rock field, rocks and stuff in it that they're playing on. Here's some more pictures of them playing. You can see the one ball on the left there. What happens to those things? That's why they needed new ones. Then them swinging. I mean, that's what we did. We played with the kids and had worship and stuff with them. Went out on their walks with them. This little girl in the middle, I was just amazed at the things they come up with to play with. They take a corn stalk, they take one of the husks from the corn stalk, and then they take a thorn and stick it in the end of the corn stalk, and then they put that little corn husk on it, and then it's like a whirligig. The wind will make it blow around. So once I saw one of the kids do that, then I was helping the other kids do it. They enjoyed that. This is their soccer field. I was trying to show you how rough it was on that second picture there, but it's like I can't do it justice. I mean, I don't know how they go out there and play on that kind of field without breaking their ankle. And some of the younger kids are there, but some of the workers are also out there because there's some fairly big people out there playing the soccer. And then they let people from the town come in and play games, and they have refs there and stuff too. So it's not just the people that live there that are, and the orphans that are playing there, or the workers. Saturday night, they have social time, and we showed you this one game, the people who came to the Christmas party. And then this other game on the other side, they're not supposed to touch the cup with their hand. They're supposed to just blow up the balloon inside the cup, pick it up, and then stack it up 3 high. The reason I show this picture, you can't even tell that lady in the red there with the hat on. You see the little thing on the end of the fork? That was their treat. That's a piece of cake. Each kid, and not all the kids got it either, only the younger ones. That was their treat, that little tiny piece of cake like that.
I believe it was one of the children's birthday. And so someone went into town and got a little cake to celebrate.
Yeah. Well, was it the guy who was buried? He had a birthday while we were there. Anyway,
Okay.
one of the orphans there had been found wrapped in a trash can, buried in the dump. And he turned 10 while we were there. That's me teaching them a new game, Simon Says. They hadn't heard that game before, so they're just having fun with the kids. Okay, I'll let you tell your story.
Well, if you know me very well, I love cats. And I found this little kitten, I just fell in love with it. And it was, of course, feral, but with enticing with my eggs and stuff left over, and milk. I would get fresh milk every morning from the cows. I would give, and that's the mama in the middle with the kitten. And so anyway, every day I would try to get it so I could pick it up, and it wouldn't try to get away from me. And see the next one. Oh, I guess it's my. So you didn't have one of my fingers. Well, anyway, one time I was. No, it kind of has a sad ending. What happened was then I was bending down and I had the, I think, egg on
There's
my
what
finger.
happened to her finger.
I had the egg on my finger and I was trying to get it to come up to me so I wouldn't be afraid rather than just leaving it and watching it from afar. And this male cat, which I didn't even see it, came rushing in between the cat and the kitten, mama cat, and bit my, pretty deep, my finger. And so luckily, the nurse practitioner, Valerie, she had some antibiotics. She has her own pharmacy, a small one, in her house, and she put me on an antibiotic. But it wasn't strong enough. I needed something stronger. So anyway, I got to go to the hospital in Karatu. That was an experience. And while I was...
So this is the hospital that
Right.
we tripped to the hospital here. This is her with the nurse.
It doesn't look as bad, but it was starting to look real
It was
shiny and
swelling. It
purple
was
and
swelling up.
swelling and very painful. And so I'm getting my blood pressure, which I'm sure was too high. And then that gentleman I'm sitting by, he was the doctor. And
And he sent them out to get me because he wanted to meet me too while I was there. So that was nice.
yeah.
Um,
So he put me on a different antibiotic, had the nurse give me a tetanus shot and a series of rabies shots. So I actually had my first rabies shot there, and then the other two were back at the compound.
And then this is the outdoor waiting area. These kids were all there to get inoculations.
I'm not sure for what.
And then, I don't know if you can see, but the lady there, the reason I took that picture, she has the earlobes that are really elongated, like thing. And then this is the pharmacy she was talking about.
Yeah, so she has, and then what we did was if we had anything left over, we just gave it to her for her pharmacy, because we brought a lot of stuff like Tylenol and Band-Aids, blah, blah, blah. So, we can get more here. So we just gave them to her. There I am, being a good girl, getting my rabies shot. They're not painful at all compared to the tetanus. Tetanus was still bothering me even when I had my third rabies shot.
Okay, they're 60 to 70% sufficient in taking, providing all their own food and supplies and stuff that they need. They have their own cows. This guy is milking the cow. While they were there, Kathy trained him on how to use both hands to milk with. He was trying to do it with one hand, and she was showing him how to do it.
Every morning she would go and get her fresh milk for her tea or coffee.
So they use the cows for milk and also for meat, and they have that whole herd there that's by that guard tower that's in the middle of the place. They have about 60 to 70 acres there. That's all fenced in, but they have, like I said before, they have a guard shack at the entrance, and then they have one in the middle there too. They have goats. For meat as well, and they weren't milking them. Kathy was going to try and talk to them about how to be able to do that, to get milk from them. They have chickens. They have a greenhouse. This they designed themselves. When she got over there, the place where they were storing the food in those bags that you saw earlier, those 100-kilogram bags, there was mice and rats and stuff running around in there. So she designed this system here, and they tilt forward. They put the date on when they got them filled. And what they do is the people come, the cooks come for 2 weeks at a time. They divvy out of these big containers into smaller containers, like this one right here, what they need for the 2 weeks that they're there. They have, for the whole place, 3 freezers and 1 refrigerator.
That fridge is something like you'd have at a dorm. And if you see in the door part of it, that's my antibiotic that I had to keep in the fridge once I opened it.
They run on solar power, but even with that, it goes out quite often.
Many times a day.
Yeah, just about every day. It's going out for part of the time. While we were there, they had a generator. They purchased a generator, and they were trying to get it hooked up, and he's since told us that they've had some problems trying to get it hooked up. They burned out their inverter and they tried to send it away to fix it, and then they couldn't fix it, and so they were having their water. He drilled like 5 wells or something when he built this place, and it's an interesting system. They pump it up into this one on the ground, on the tank on the ground, and then it goes up into the one that's in the tower, and it actually kind of warms up there, but then it's gravity fed back to all the places, all the houses and stuff. It's not pumped down to it's not a pressure tank like we'd have in our houses. They told us that like a day or two before we went, Tom sent us an email saying it's going to be cold water shower. Well, it wasn't that cold because the water, it's 80, 90 degrees out there during the day, so the water does heat up there in the tanks.
His showers are much shorter over there, though.
Yeah. So these barrels out here, he not only uses the water for his own orphanage there, he provides water to the neighbors. They use the cow poop for this series of tanks here, produce methane gas. They use methane gas on these modified burners to cook their food. And they also use the leftovers, that guy wheelbarrow and stuff off there, the leftover stuff for fertilizer. We went shopping several times to some of the lodges that are in the area. And so this is a picture. He knows all the people in Karatu, so that's Jerry, the director there, with Jill and Kathy, and one of the shop owners. And there's Jill looking at some baskets. Here's one day they took us to the market where they shop at, and he told us, don't take your wallets with you when you go. So
He actually made us give our money to Gracie, and then we would let her know, but don't point, because if they see that we want it, they're going to jack the price up. But she would do the purchasing for us.
bartering before. Yeah. So, but these are some of the other shops along the road that you see, different things. So you wanted me to show you. Now, I noticed when I put the picture in here, she actually has her hand on the, so she's not just balancing it on her head. Okay, we went to a safari while we were there, and it's Ngaro. It's an old volcano crater. It used to be part of Serengeti National Park, but in 1940s, sometime they broke apart and made it a separate park. A lot of the people, bigger one is Serengeti. More people, tourists and stuff, come to see the Serengeti one, but we went to this one. There's the water that's in the top of the old crater right there. That's why the animals are around there, because of the water. The Maasai, they allow them to live in the park. The Serengeti does not allow them to live there, but this park does. And so you can see there some of the people there, and then I don't know if you can see the little thatched houses and stuff down there in a group down there on the bottom on the other side there. We got to see all kinds of animals, giraffes, gazelle, baboons. I don't know, well, we can't really see. I couldn't find a picture. We had this one on this side over here. Here, it has a baby on its stomach, attached to it. Zebras, water buffalo, white wildebeest, the warthogs. I thought they only had those kinds of things like that in Arkansas. I think they're over there, so. It's weird. They get on their knees and they're digging in the dirt. I don't quite know why they do that. Hippopotamus, and this is these big. They all get together in the water and there. Elephants. Some of these pictures were by Jasper because our pictures on our cameras for our phones aren't that great.
He had the
He
nice
had,
lenses.
he had the really nice photo, big, long telephoto lens and stuff. Hyena, I had a picture of this hyena. It was a little blob that he got some nice close-ups of it. The lion, my picture of the lion, you can't even tell there's anything there, but he got this one.
To see a lion, you really need to go early in the morning because later in the day they're sleeping and you just can't find them.
This one did get up while we were there, so we did get to see it, but it was quite a distance away. And we also supposedly saw a rhinoceros, but I can't vouch for that. They told us, those things over there, way down there, they're moving around. Those are rhinoceros. Because if you paid more money, you could drive closer, and so they were talking to each other, and so the people who had driven up closer knew that that's what was there. So flamingos, stork, ostrich, Cory bustard. It's supposed to be the second biggest bird like that, something. Pelicans. I don't even know what that bird that was flying there was. Anyway, some of the scenery we saw. This is a termite mound on the one side there, but the other side, all over, there's this. It's really when it's the rainy season, it just goes through there and just washes things out and makes gullies. There's no river there. It looks like a riverbed, but it's only there when it's during the rainy season. I forgot, I was going to look up what those purple trees were. They're really pretty. They're all over there. The lovebirds, they're there during the night. This is a cactus, this thing on the other side there. This is a splendid starling. That's what they call it, that bird that's flying there. It is a very colorful bird. Then before they left, Tom he had his dad and his mom with him. They were older, so they needed to stay someplace. So they stayed at the lodge. And they had us come eat there the night before they left. And so this is a picture of us all there eating. They had a 5-course meal for us. And then this is the staff going around presenting a cake to them for their staying there and stuff. And it turned out that it was Valerie's mom's birthday. So they gave her the cake because the staff was doing it for the people who had been staying there, but they gave it to...
And for the women who stayed at the hotel, they presented them a beautiful skirt, kind of like what I had, but they each got one.
Yeah, these are the things they went shopping for, these kind of skirts like this. They're very lightweight and very cool for the hot weather that's there. And if you went as a tourist, you got charged like about $25 for them. But if you went with Jerry and
maybe get it for 12,
get
15.
12 or 15. So,
U.S. dollars, yeah.
I wanted to show you the contrast between what's inside the lodge area. It's all gated and fenced in and stuff. This is the kind of thing that's on the outside, on the one side there, and then the inside, it's all green, it's all watered, It's just night and day difference between what's inside and what's on the inside for the people, the tourists and stuff versus what the people outside are living like. We went to a restaurant, and this on the way back home, and this is their method of washing your hands. You put the stuff on your hand, soap on your hand, you use the top bucket with water in it and wash your hand under it. It goes into the bucket on the bottom. Then this is the guy delivering the pop.
And the gentleman between us, that's Simon, he was the one that took us back to the airport.
He's the driver, and he's very instrumental in helping keep the orphanage running. Then, I don't know if you can see Kathy's face or not. Can you see the look on her face there? The director had told us that they had the best salmon at this restaurant. Well, somehow in translation, the driver, Simon, didn't get us to the right place, so they didn't even have salmon. This is tilapia or whatever. And she was expecting cut up, fish. And when she got the fish with the eyes and she couldn't eat it. She made him take it back. And she would not even let them cut it up and serve it to her.
That was the most expensive
It was the
dish.
most expensive thing that was on the menu. So, on the way back, we also stopped at a museum there. This was the bathroom at the museum. They have people standing in there, handing you a paper towel, waiting for you to give them a tip. So,
I had to take a picture because of the windows.
the stained glass windows in a bathroom.
They're beautiful, and it's such a contrast to, where we were at.
And then, lastly, when we got back, we had to go through special customs because we had brought some rice back with us.
And beans.
And beans, and they had to inspect them. And then all they did was they ran it through this machine, and they didn't even look at it. So it was like, but they have dogs there, and that dog was sniffing, and it took off like 7 bags. And she opened up some of them, and all that was in them was food. So people from Ethiopia and Tanzania that were flying over here to the U.S., this was in O'Hare here, they bring in their own food with them because they want their native food, but they can't bring it into the U.S., so she was confiscating it, and they burn it. And so that was it for that.
That's just a tip of the iceberg, how many pictures that you
What-
saw.
We never even got Kathy's picture. She probably had another 2,000. We had over 3,000 pictures, and so we got it down to about 90% of what we had, less, only about 10% of them we showed you. But then this is the video that was primarily shot while we were there. We got to sit and watch while they were doing the interview with him. We got to see him flying that drone around to take the pictures. But Kathy's the only one that made it into this video. Oh, we probably won't hear sound, will we? Let's see.
Well, you didn't ask them?
I'll have to see if I can figure out how to do sound.
Is there a sound thing on the computer?
No, it's not. I've got it on my laptop. I may just have to go to there. I'll have to go out of this and do it from there. Well, I may have to use this mic to do it.
Before we got to the orphanage, I think we got in on a Thursday. We saw, how we have deer always going across? We saw a giraffe lope across just in front of us, but it was dark, so only Tom got a picture of it. But there, he got the sound. But it was pretty neat to see this huge
A father to the
giraffe
fatherless
go across the
and a
road.
defender of
Pretty
widows.
cool.
Oh, it's not showing up there now, though.
God saves the lonely families. He leads out the prisoners with singing.
Hey, I need help. I don't know how to.
In the areas surrounding Karatu, Tanzania, there are many abandoned babies due to the high-level prostitution. And that is why Falco's Children's Home is located in this region where the need is the greatest. It is here so that babies can be rescued and can find a safe haven, a place where they can grow up protected, where they can receive an education, where they can have a future and chart their own path through life.
majority of the children we're taking care of are in different categories. They've either been abandoned, thrown in toilets. We have children that were definitely thrown in toilets. One of them was thrown in toilet so long that the acid started burning his skin. And then we have children just thrown in the bush that we find. There's one of the children we had
Why
was
can't
abandoned
I? Why
on the side of
isn't
the
it?
highway
Why
and
wouldn't
had
it?
ants all over her.
No, I took it out. I just went to the direct video. Why is it X'd? Oh, it's trying to send it out from that. That's why.
which I'm getting it out right now.
So can I do it there then? Can you do it from back there? I mean, I can change it to the Realtek speaker and then.
Thrown in toilets. One of them was thrown in toilets so long that the acid started burning his skin. And then we have children just thrown in the bush that we find. There's one of our children we had was abandoned on the side of the highway that had ants all over her. We have three girls that were in the process of being sold for a bag of sugar for either a wife or a prostitute or for whatever reason they were being sold for. We have children that have burns all over them because whenever a child is abandoned to a stranger, and the stranger doesn't want them, the stranger, for whatever reason it is, throws boiling water on them to run them off. We have one child that was given to a nurse. The nurse didn't want her, so she put a spoon in the fire and burned her all over her body. So that's what we deal with on a regular basis, either abandoned, abused, neglected, everything.
So that was it, showing it, that's that drawing.
Falcos
line.
exist because of the children. It's a children's center. It's a home for children. And because of our mission, specifically to spread the word of God in a tangible manner to children who are abandoned, who are orphaned, who are abused, we've developed this home-like setting with a Christian environment for children that can benefit from all the love that we can never give.
What is unique about Falco's Children Village is that the homes are arranged in a circle, and there are smaller units. Sometimes when we think about rescue, we think about a large dormitory, and that can be effective. But they've intentionally set up these homes to feel like a family. And there are mamas in each of the homes that look after these children and nurture them in their journey. This is why a member of parliament stated that Falcos is the #1 orphanage in all of Tanzania. Further evidence is that one girl who grew up here has tested 3 times as the top student in all of Tanzania. So as a baby is nurtured here in this environment of love and care and nutrition and support in every way, they are able to pursue their educational goals and dreams and flourish and excel as they move into their future. A baby is the most vulnerable of all human beings. Without care, immediate care, they will not survive. And so that is why Operation Child Rescue, in working together with Falcos, it is critical for an immediate response to be available. We can't think about it for a day or two and decide whether the baby will be rescued. Those funds need to be in place at the moment the opportunity arises. At the moment that baby's abandoned, there must be an immediate response. A few months ago, when I visited Falcos, Jerry received a call from social services with an urgent need. An abandoned baby had been discovered, and they were asking Falcos if they could take this baby. Jerry did not hesitate. He immediately sprung into action, packing the car, and I was able to ride along as I saw Jerry drive faster than anybody in their middle 70s should drive. But he did not want to waste a moment to be able to give this child the safety that was so necessary for that baby.
This baby was left abandoned at a home. It was a very poor neighborhood. And so when baby Jason was found, it was an opportunity for the mother in the house to hear the baby crying. And when she heard the sound of a baby crying, she looked outside of her poor home, and on the ground, behold, there was a newborn baby. Brand newborn baby with the umbilical cord still attached. It was naked. It was clothed in a thin strip of cloth that we normally use to wrap our heads, and it was a little cool. And so the baby was screaming, hungry, wet from childbirth. When we arrived at the hospital to take Jason, our hearts melted because Jason had those eyes of a little cat, but it peered right into my soul that just says, can you please take me? Can you please love me? I've had Jason now for the past 6 months. He's the most loving, adorable little teddy bear any mama can hold. And when I hold him in my arms, it's like heaven to me, because I felt that God called us to that space at that time to take this little baby into our arms. And you know what? That's his story for now. But there's so much more to come. Every baby here has a story, and it's just as touching as baby Jason's.
The rescue of baby Jason and his circumstances is one of many stories of rescued babies that now are growing up in a nurturing and safe environment at Falcos Children Home. I was privileged to be able to go on baby Jason's rescue.
But I didn't make
But I know that this is what Jerry and Valerie do all the time, because we receive messages from them by email or phone calls about the next baby that needs to be rescued. And Jerry has a commitment that he will never say no. When a request comes, he will respond. And that is why it is so essential that funds are in place ready to support the rescue of these vulnerable babies.
And because Falcos doesn't turn children down, the costs only go up as children get added. Last year, there was 70 children. This year, there's 90. So if Child Impact was not supporting, I'm not sure how they would do it. When you get called to rescue a child, you don't think twice. You just do it. It is because there's donors that have already promised money, that have already committed to helping, that Falcos can just get up and go rescue a child without asking any questions.
This is the dentist and his wife.
This is what Operation Child Rescue is all about. The ability to respond in a moment's notice to rescue a child who is vulnerable. These babies are the most vulnerable, and we want to be able to take action immediately to bring them to safety.
I would love for each one of these kids to have a family of their own. That would be the greatest thing. And yet, this is a family. They're giving them opportunities. We are giving them the option of going to school, funding their food, their school supplies. And once they go through school, they can go on to secondary, they can learn a trade. And so we're giving them opportunities to do something with their life.
Well, we already have one of our children that has left here. She wanted to be a chef, so we have sent her to a 2-year vocational school, and she's getting ready to graduate this either the end of November or the first part of December. So she's the first one that's actually left. So we want to be sure all the children have the opportunity to have some kind of trade when they're old enough to leave.
See, there's Jill. Jill made it. You said you didn't make it.
As Child Impact, we have a dream for these rescued babies. And that dream is that they can fulfill their dreams. That they can grow up in a place where they can make choices. They can write their own story. They can pursue education. And they can decide that they want to make a difference in this world. That they too want to give back. Perhaps they want to rescue babies someday themselves. We have seen this story repeat, where children that are rescued want to rescue others, and that would be our dream for these children. From a first world context, it can be very difficult to understand the choices that a mother may make to abandon a baby. And yet they live in a context of poverty, extreme poverty. And sometimes they don't feel like they have options or even know what is possible or what they can do. And so sadly, these babies are abandoned and left to perish by the elements that they're abandoned to.
I could not imagine my children going through something like this. And if I was in their place, I would want someone to rescue them. All children are as valuable, no matter if it's a first world country or a third world country. When we visited Falcos, my girls told me that they had taken for granted everything they had. They pointed out that these children have so very little, yet they seem so happy with the little bit they have.
There's Kathy.
Imagine if a place like Falcos was not available to rescue these babies. They would have no hope. They would have no chance to survive. So these children, these babies, are literally alive today because Falcos exist. And Falcos exist because of generous donors who want to make a difference in the lives of these children. At Child Impact, we share the Falcos story with our partners all around the world because there's something very special here. They have been able to create a family environment for these children who've been abandoned, for these babies who didn't have any hope unless Falcos was here. And so as these children grow up, they are here in an environment where the older children help take care of the younger children. They have mamas that look after them. They have Papa Jerry and Mama Valerie that love them. They learn about Jesus. They sing songs. They laugh. They play. It's an amazing place of healing, of restoration, and an ability to find a future that they can pursue. The biggest honor that I've been given since starting at Child Impact was when Jerry asked me if they could name a rescued baby after me. He said, "We want to name him Baby Tom." And I said, "Well, if you want to name him after me, it will have to be Baby Tommy because that's my legal name." What a privilege it was to hold baby Tommy for the first time. He's had a lot of medical challenges, but he's in a place where he's receiving the care that he needs.
This is the one that's blind that they're doing the operations on.
The healing journey is accelerated here at Falcos because the environment is so conducive, not only to physical healing through care and through a healthy, nutritious diet, but also emotional healing by being loved and supported in their journey. And so somehow there's an acceleration that happens. They heal more quickly than you would anticipate. And so you experience a lot of joy and laughter and emotional health from the children located here at Falcos. Greetings, friends. I'm sure your heart has been warmed as mine has, as you've heard these stories.
Anyway, Jerry told me that the amount that they have, you could have people sponsor for doesn't cover the cost. I've always wondered about that. How could, $35 or $45 a month cover the costs for education and feeding and taking care of a kid? And he says it doesn't. It's just that they set the amount that they think people can handle, and so that's what they give as a sponsor amount. But anyway, like I said, they're going to be bringing the baby back over for some more surgeries, that baby Tommy that he was talking about there at the end. The one thing that really impressed me there, I wanted to put that in there too, but I have enough trouble trying to get video and stuff going with, it always seems to have trouble. I'd love to have you hear them sing. They are just amazing hearing them. The first night we went there, and they were singing, just singing at the top of their lungs. They're so happy. They don't have hardly anything. I mean, you saw their area that they have. They don't even have any toys in there. They just have their clothes and stuff for each kid. But they're just happy. They just sing at the tops of their lungs. I appreciate you guys coming out and listening to our presentation about what we did when we were over there. We're going to have a little bit of food afterwards to eat here if you want to stay and eat. I guess we can have a prayer unless you have something else you want to say.
Well, I wanted to say too, I brought some things from Tanzania. There's a table in the dining area where we're going to be eating soon. You can look at those, and there's also more. I put my pictures in a book, so you can look at those. And as you can see, I've got a pretty colorful skirt on, and it was the last one at that store, so I was pretty excited to get that. And I would just say, just keep this mission in your prayer. Some of you maybe got to meet Jerry when he was here in last, was it December? Yeah. And keep Valerie's dad in prayer. I believe he's from Antigua, and he's very, very sick. And so she said she's not sure yet if they're going to be able to come or not on the date they said. So she had just texted me that this week. And are there any questions? If not, we'll have prayer on the food and,
I have a question.
yes.
Does child impact oversee the whole operation in Tanzania? Or Falcon's village is by itself. Is it
What Child Impact does, it goes around and finds places that are already existing and then helps them raise funds to continue running. So he's helping them to run he started that, Jerry, like I said, he was a pastor and he went over there and then God told him you need to take care of the kids, forget preaching. So he started this up on his own. And then Tom found out about him, and then he started helping them raise funds to keep their mission going. He did the same thing for Twing village that's there too in Tanzania. There was an old lady that had been running, and maybe with her husband, had been running it. She died, and he came in and helped get the funds so they could keep it running. So that's kind of what Child Impact does. They find existing places and help keep them going. They work at Riverside Farms too, and that's a pretty well-known place from Zambia, I think it is, or no, where is it? I don't know. Anyway.
I did want to mention, when we went on the safari, if you could go to the very edge of, like to the very end of that in Goragora, it would go actually into Kenya.
It's right on the border.
Yeah.
Kenya. Okay, that's where you want to.
Okay. Dear Father in heaven, we want to thank you for being with this orphanage, and we ask that they continue to get the funds that they need to help these children that are in much need. And we ask that you also bless this food that we're going to be partaking of, and we're so grateful for all the blessings that you give us. Sometimes it takes going to another country to realize how much we do have here in America. And continue to bless Child Impact as they make an impact on all the other areas that of orphanages and the other things that they are involved with.